You are listening to the Londonpreneur Show, a podcast that inspires entrepreneurs of all ages to create meaningful businesses and pursue their passions. My name is Tiago Correia, a technology sales professional and business advisor, and I'm sitting down with entrepreneurs in London to talk about their process, the lessons they've learned, and how to make an impact. If you are new to the channel, welcome, and please do not forget to subscribe. If you're already a subscriber, it's nice to have you back. Hi, friends. So, welcome to the Londonpreneur Show. My name is Tiago Correia, and I'd like to start the podcast by welcoming Ivan Kayima. I hope I'm pronouncing the name correctly, your surname, Ivan Kayima. That's the correct pronunciation.
That was perfect.
Yeah.
That was perfect. Yeah.
Ivan Kayima, sales professional in the technology space and founder of Spiela. For those who don't know, Spiela is a collaborative network empowering young people with particular mission to engage those from minority backgrounds and ensure that they have a safe and supportive environment, which to engage and not network with other entrepreneurs and other people as well from all sorts of backgrounds. We'll go into more detail about Spiela, and I'm sure Ivan will explain us a bit better what's all about, this organization. First of all, Ivan, thank you very much for joining the podcast today. I mean, it's with great pleasure that I welcome you to the first episode. So this is a new experience to both of us. To give a bit of context to our audience, I actually know Ivan from before. I say Ivan because, in Europe we say Ivan, right? In French, I think is Ivan. In Portuguese, is Ivan. So it's a little bit tricky to me to say Ivan sometimes. I'll try my best. We've worked together in Cisco. We've met, I think, how long ago did we meet? Do you remember, Ivan?
That was, I believe it was 2018 that we met, actually, yeah.
2018.
August 2018.
Yeah, August 2018, exactly. So it was right after, my kid was born in that year. And then I remember leaving that job, that team a few months later. And I still remember welcoming you to the office and giving you a tour of the building. I don't know if you recall that. Yeah,
definitely.
It was quite impressive. I've never felt so tall in my life, because for those who don't know, Ivan is quite tall. So
I'm a giant.
You are a giant, yeah.
standing at an incredible 6'7". So yeah, definitely overpowering in that sense.
But did you ever play basketball or anything like that in terms of sports?
You know what? So growing up, I played American football, which I played for about a good 5-6 years for Great Britain and the London Warriors. However, basketball, I did try it, but I realized quite young, I'm a big fan of contact sport, aggressive sports like American football, like MMA. So basketball, it's no contact, can't really do too much. I was always fouling out. So, yeah, I realized it's not for me.
I bet it suits you contact sports.
Yeah.
Sure. Are the American football players tall as you, or is it common? Or
there was one other guy on my team. His name was Dammy. He was about 6'10". Me having to look up to someone else. That's when I realized, wow, okay, this is what it's like. So that was definitely an experience seeing someone as taller than me in the flesh. So,
that's good. Really, it's funny. For those listeners who don't know who you are, Ivan, can you share a little bit about your journey to where you are today?
Yeah, of course. As you know, thank you, Tiago, for having me. It's a pleasure, and of course, being the first guest, it's an absolute honor. And my name's Ivan. I was born and bred in a place in South London called Lewisham, which is as beautiful as it is, as scenic as it is. It's known for its roughness, upbringing, the kind of tough culture element of it. So I was kind of born and raised in that. There was 7 of us in the family living in a 2-bedroom place. So as you can imagine, it was quite squashed and it wasn't the easiest of times growing up. But it was those experiences growing up in that kind of environment that really cultivated my way of thinking. So I was able to kind of grow up quickly, think outside the box, having to hustle kind of in a way, having a hustle mentality from a very young age of trying to make money and trying to trying to help the family in some way I could. And those kind of young experiences in those certain types of environments really does prepare you for adversity in life. So that's kind of my young upbringing. Childhood was relatively good up until my father and my brother passed away, and so that kind of set me on a bit of a tailwind. Unfortunately, started hanging out with the wrong people, doing the things I shouldn't have been doing, and
Yeah, sorry
actually
to
all
hear
kind
that.
of climaxed. Thank you. No, thank you. Life. And so
Yeah.
it all kind of reached this climax around the age of 16 when I was arrested for a crime I didn't actually commit. I was just
Oh,
around people committing. Yeah, I was actually just around people doing bad stuff. I wasn't actually doing it. And so that whole kind of experience really taught me family, the importance of family, mentorship, support, and people who are really there for you. So once that case had cleared up and I was found not guilty, I really then focused my life on trying to be better and being the best version of myself that I could be. So I kind of knuckled down, worked hard, got myself into my life changed once I got a scholarship to a private sixth form called Buller's Grammar. Being from where I'm from, but being good at a particular skill, which is IT and science, I was able to get a scholarship there. And that's when my whole worldview changed. So I went from one environment to another ridiculously privileged environment, and I got to see both sides of the world.
that's because you probably, and also because I believe you start hanging out with other people, right? With other
Mm,
ambitions, and
yeah,
myself, and I mean, today we're not here to talk about myself. We're here to talk about a little bit, to discover about you, Ivan. But I also come from an environment that was quite
mm,
tough, and I also had a period in my life that I was hanging out with the wrong people, right? Until
mm,
the moment that then I was lucky enough to start to meet the right people and change
yeah,
my perspective, right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
I mean, were you 16 when you lost your father and your brother, or
I
before that?
was I was 8 years old when I lost my father. I was
8 years
13 when I
old.
lost my brother. So
Oh,
as a
you're
young
quite
guy,
young.
very young from that environment, losing a male influence, it does affect you and shape your life up until a certain point. Because
Yeah,
when you lose someone that male influence that young and you don't have anything, you're gonna start making up your own rules and norms of what you think a man is. Hanging around and trying to, I guess, chase that kind of
yeah,
affection from others when it's not good, whether that's good or bad, you're still
yeah,
kind of chasing a sort of affection. So it's easy for you to get persuaded to do the things you shouldn't necessarily be doing because you're getting validation. And as humans, I feel like a part of us will always seek some form of validation somewhere. We all want to be known, told that we're doing a good job, or we all want to feel that we belong. We're pack creatures. So having that experience, I was kind of blinded until I got thrown into a lion's den and realized that my family were the only ones that were really had my back or really down for me and wanted to support me, and mentors as well. And having that kind of support in my
yeah.
community where a lot of people don't have it, that really shaped my outlook and my motivation to why I'm doing Spiela today.
Did you get the support from your community, your local
Yeah,
community?
yeah, the local community. So when I was kind of going through the situation, it was my local like church members, it was local school teachers who were drawing up reports, who were speaking on my behalf, in court as well, and really just seeing people come up, stand up for me, and show a lot of care and support really opened my eyes to the power of community.
Did you have problems at school during that time? I mean, in terms of, were you doing well at school? Were you, yeah,
Well, funny enough, as bad as I was always performing well. So my
okay,
teacher, my biggest thing was concentration or focus because I found the IT and the science quite easy. So I just kind of done the bare minimum on it, but because I knew I was going to get good on that and just went off and done my own thing. I was lacking focus and guidance, right? And it did affect me to up until that point of being arrested, and that's when I think the whole experience spooked me into wanting to do well and not waste my life. I want to get
yeah.
to a point in my back where I want my family to be proud of me and say, this is what I've done, and not look at, that as my highlight reel and say, oh, is that all? Or, you could do so much more than that. I feel like I would have wasted myself if I didn't apply myself.
Yeah, I believe in that type of environment, and still applies
Mm,
today. Probably now it's
mm,
quite easy to get trapped, right?
yeah,
To not to
yeah,
be able to get out, or to see things from a different perspective. Like
yeah,
although and sometimes I think like I come from a smaller environment when I compare it to London, right? London is a great city full of opportunities, right? But I believe you can get yourself trapped in that
of course.
environment of yours, and you don't see the opportunity you have right in front of your eyes, right? and that leads to problems, right? It can lead to crime and to other things, right? Drug
Yeah,
addiction, alcohol,
serious stuff.
all serious stuff, right?
Mm.
I mean, fortunately, you were able to overcome those challenges,
Yeah,
and be where you are today, right? And you probably privileged also to have a family that supported you, right? That's
very,
also very 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 important, because not
very
everybody has got the family behind you, right? I was also
correct.
fortunate enough to have a family that always supported me regardless, right? And
Mm.
always tried and guided me the best they could, right? And how has your journey shaped what you are today as an individual?
My environment, you know what? Coming from a tough environment like that, you get you face adversity very young, and I believe adversity breeds champions. You know, going through adversity and being able to overcome any obstacle really does set you up well in life. So when I go through certain life instances or things where I
Yeah,
know other people would falter, it's nothing to me. I've been through it. I've been through worse, and I know that the overarching message is that I will survive and that I will overcome and I will learn from it, and I also will grow stronger from it. So that my tough experiences have really shaped me as an entrepreneur, as a professional. When I working where I work at Cisco, and being able to achieve this level of success that I've been able to achieve up to the age of 29. And I thank that a lot because of my past upbringing and all the adversity I had to overcome, and all the strength, mental strength I achieved and acquired to becoming right to get into where I am now.
cool. I mean, what one thing you would wish you'd know before you began your career?
Patience. I'm a very patient person. I'm realizing things will always fall into place. You know, when you're young and you're at it, you're full of energy. You're just chasing everything in the hopes that you get caught up in stargazing. You hope that things will work out the way you want it to work out immediately, and things don't work that way. You have to take time building the foundation of wherever it is, so that when
Yeah,
get to that certain level, and if something happens, you're strong enough to survive. I mean, it's something that Dr. Dre, the famous, rapper producer, said.
yeah.
Anybody can make it to the top. Staying there is the hardest bit. Staying is absolutely the hardest thing of making it to
Sustain it.
anything.
Sustain it.
Sustainability.
Yeah, sustainability is
Yeah,
key, isn't it? To be
yeah.
to be on top all the time. I mean, I
That's
think
the hard part because
that's
we've
the
seen so
hard
many
part.
times. We've seen so many times the whole 15 minutes of fame where people, make it one day. One day they're here, they're the biggest thing in the world, and then they falter and they're gone the very next day. So
Yeah,
it's about having that consistency, staying at the top and learning that. So I feel like for me, one thing I wish I would have known was that instead of trying to rush everything and double back in on myself, having that foundation in place and knowing that things will take time and fall where they need to fall.
yeah. Not perhaps not being so much like reactive to situations, right? Be a
Yeah,
bit more,
correct.
take a step back, think about it before taking any action, right?
Correct.
Do you see yourself like are you more calm nowadays? I mean, when it's
Yeah, compared to how I was before when I first started out the journey, I was young, hungry, full of energy, but I was very inexperienced. And the beautiful thing about time and being in a process is that you pick up so much skills and more experience. So now I'm a lot calmer. However, my motivation is still 100%, but I'm more calm and I know how to use that motivation now, and how to use that energy as opposed to just wasting it out, blowing it all off, and then getting completely out of steam and annoyed and agitated. Now I know how
yeah,
to manage these situations a lot better. And that only comes with time and experience, and knowing that you cannot cheat hard work. Hard work will beat talent when talent doesn't work hard. And so I firmly believe that you don't have to be the most talented, but if you're willing to work harder than any single person in the room, you will get to what you need to get to. You will see out your mission, but you can't cheat hard work.
yeah, yeah. That I agree with you. Do you remember a time you know where you had no idea what you were doing, like or made a mistake, something like that? You remember one of
Yeah,
those days?
in the early days of Spiela, when we first built an app for it, and we realized we wasn't ready. We wasn't even ready to have an app yet. I must have blown at least good 5 to 10k, 5 to 10,000 pounds of money just pissed it away on just thinking that, things will work this way when it really didn't, or, be inexperienced, right? Not doing my homework entirely, not knowing what customers are after, not really knowing my audience, and just literally going off the excitement that, yeah, everybody will love it, everyone will use it, and not having a clear strategy in place. You're not gonna, if you don't have a clear strategy in place for whatever you're doing, whatever you are doing, it will crumble. It have to have a contingency for every single thing that happens. So for me, losing, life will humble you. The moment you start losing a lot of money, life will humble you thick and fast. And so that's something I've learned, that life will always set you up to test you. Life will always set you up to fail. But as long as you have a plan in place, a clear conscience, a clear strategy, you'll push ahead.
Was it hard to recover?
No, because again, at that age, my drive was too high. So even when
Yeah.
it did falter, it did hurt. Don't get me wrong. The
Yeah.
whole blood, sweat, and tears did happen. However, I believed in myself too much. I banked and betted on my self belief and my mental
Too
strength too much.
confident, no business plan.
That's it.
Uh,
I was too confident. I was too
yeah.
confident in myself. So even though I didn't have a plan or anything, I was humble enough at the same time to know that, okay, I need help. So I then lent towards having a mentor, building a team, putting the foundation in place. And now, as things take time, it's only after 3-4 years, now Spiela's at the point where we're ready to go. We're working with big partners, organizations. I mean, I of course wish that it would have happened when I was starting out, but things don't work that way. We're so quick to see the glamour of everything. We see everything's glamorized, but we don't see the hard work and the determination, the effort that it's taken to get to that stage. So
Yeah.
I really would love personally to kind of document and show the hard work side, and learning that things take time and things take hard work. Nothing just becomes successful overnight unless you're Zuckerberg or someone. That's how these things work.
Yeah, I mean everything comes with hard work, right? Rome was not built in 7 days. They used to say, right?
Exactly.
Everything. Can you? I mean, explain it, like try, in a structured way. Like how did you overcome those challenges? Like
Sure. Yeah.
because it's. I think our listeners would like to know that.
Sure. So when faced with, is that with any issue or any problem?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, when you,
Oh,
for example, we can take that situation, where you lost to 10K, but
okay.
because I
Yeah.
believe, at that moment in time with that age, 10K is quite significant, right? So,
Mm. Yeah.
it
Sure.
can really bankrupt you almost, right?
Sure.
So I think,
So, being faced on a situation, given 10K, the first thing was, you think you have an idea, you think you have a plan of how it is and what it looks like. You don't account for the deep programming costs. You don't account for having a certain amount of money saved because you're always going to go over. I didn't think about how many people I have to pay for help, and the fact that help isn't necessarily free. Good help, that you got to pay for that as well. So you realize you're burning so much money on the whole fixing side of things, and there was no strategy for it. There was no strategy or budget to say, I'm going to spend this X amount on here, X amount on there, X amount on there. So I would stress, have a budget sheet, know exactly how much you're going to spend and how much you're willing to say yes to and no to. That is the
yeah,
first clear thing I would say to learn when it comes. That's the first stage. So coming to that now, when I had it built and developed, I probably had from the 10K, I probably had about a grand left after everything, spent way more than I would have wanted to. And when it went live, I didn't account for the live situation. So when it goes live, you have lots of bugs and errors that you may have to pay as well. Lots of problems you got. And this time you're faced with legalities, right? So you've got to sign up to like the Data Protection Act. You got to make sure that you're legally covered as well because you're
yeah,
handling sensitive data. All the things that again, I didn't account for because I didn't have a business plan or strategy in place. So at that stage, you need to have a business plan, a strategy to know that this is how how you're going to structure your business. Because if you're going to show it to an investor or someone who can sponsor you, the first two things they're going to look at is your sheet, like your budget sheet, your finance sheet, and they're going to look at your legalities, making sure you're up to date with everything. Nobody's going
yeah,
to invest in a company that's not up to date with their legalities, and I wasn't. And again, that cost, and time is money, and that cost extra money having to learn all these things, as I didn't have the time to go and do free research, so that cost a lot of money. And so
yeah,
by the time all my money had been exceeded on those two stages, we still hadn't even properly released. So when we got out there, we didn't have enough money for marketing. And I can't stress this enough. PR is absolutely everything when it comes to marketing a business. Always be willing to spend your last pound on advertising and marketing. Even though word of mouth marketing is very powerful, you need that foot off the door. So whether that's influencer marketing, whether that's word of mouth or family or friends, you need to have a bit of money behind that. And by then we had exceeded all the amounts. And I couldn't pull in a programmer to join my team full time because I didn't have no structure or plan in place. So all those instances, coupled with the fact that I didn't have money to kind of maintain the server, maintain fixes or bugs and issues, meant I had to put, and then I had to kind of then think, okay, what am I going to do next? So of course that was the period where it led to a lot of hardship, a lot of pain, um, questioning myself, doubting whether I want to continue with this or not. You know, questioning,
Yeah.
am I good enough for this? You know, did I think this through? I failed, thinking I failed, and so that was that stage. So it's kind of like the 7 stages of kind of grief, isn't it? So once I got past the grieving stage of it, I then had to pick myself up. So I said to myself, you know what, the fire still burns deep. And I started looking at ways on which I could do Spiela, not necessarily a website, right? So I started looking at live events. I started to put an actual minimal viable product. Instead of trying to make a full app, I started properly and read up on it and kind of just trusted the process. I joined a business school at that time, a business school course to learn how to actually structure and run a business properly
Okay.
because I ran into it with no plan in place. So, you know, joining the accelerator, joining the business school, online courses,
Which business school?
New Entrepreneurs Foundation. That was class of
Okay.
2015. So having that in place taught me so much about the structure and how to run a business and the order in which you should do it and how you do things. So after that, you know, I looked at the MVP, like creating a minimal product with next to no money and then building a community base from that. Once I started building up more and more numbers, I then started to attract people who wanted to work with me. So like a team in place. And then
Yeah.
once I was able to build a team, I realized we were able to build a website with no money and still no payment, but people believed in the dream, believed in my passion, and believed in where it was going. And this has led to us to where we are now. So having a clear plan in place, having an infectious kind of personality, being passionate about what you're doing, that will attract the right people. But start with an MVP, a minimal viable product. Something that's free to do, and it's the simplest way of trying your business for free to test the market and see who's interested. So doing things the right way with a strategy and plan has allowed me to go past that tough phase to get to where I am now.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
No problem.
Did you get a mentor at that time? Did you have
Yeah,
someone to
so
mentor you?
I had two mentors at the time as well. Yes, and I can't stress enough the power of a mentor. Now, a mentor's not there to save your life. A mentor's not there to do anything for you. They're just
Of
giving you the
course.
tools to succeed. A mentor just gives you the tools and just tells you from experience, their own experience in hopes that it motivates you to want to do something. And so, having mentors who are very passionate in that sense really helped me, allow me to see things differently and allow me to keep pushing in the way that I was pushing. So, yeah, having
Okay.
that was key as well.
How difficult do you think is to get a mentor? Like for a young, let's say for a young, or let's say not young, but for someone who's just starting this journey, regardless of the age, right? Then I mean, there's always, I mean, it's never too late to start
Of
a
course.
journey as an
Yeah,
entrepreneur, in my opinion.
yeah.
But you know the environment, you know London, you know the communities around you. I mean, how would I mean how difficult it is for someone who's aspiring to be an entrepreneur to actually get a mentor.
A good mentor can always sense how passionate you are about something. You can't lie, you can't cheat or lie about a passion, a commitment to it. A good mentor will watch you first. They'll watch you for a little while, keep in contact, be your friend, see how passionate you are in it. And when your passion is so honest and true and authentic, you will attract the right people. Because you can get shysters, right? These mentors that will help you for a big fee. And then when you do pay that fee, you realize it's not, you could have got this for free on Google, right?
Okay.
But a good mentor is someone that cares about you as well as what you're doing. So it's about building a genuine connection and a friendship with somebody and having that first. Start off by building relations first with people before you ask what you're after. Because again, when we meet, when we network, when we negotiate, it's to get something off one another. So with
Yeah.
mentorship, it's relatively easy as long as you're authentic, you're true, and you're passionate about what you're doing. It will attract the right people. It will build you lifetime worth of links, and from that, a natural relationship between yourself and a mentor can form.
Okay. And when I mean, when you got your guidance, your mentorship, you know, you did your, you know, you kind of went back and you started, you know, reviewing everything, and I believe you've done your business plan again. You've
Yeah,
revisited, like as you explained, and then
yeah.
you said that you got a team together. Do you have like a multidiscipline team? I mean, did you manage to get a team that each person would have a different skill set in terms of
Yes,
like
you
IT?
ultimately when building a team, you always want people that complement you. You don't want someone that's just like you. You
Yeah.
definitely don't want to be the smartest person in the room. You want your team to be, better than you at certain parts. Your job is just to be okay at everything and delegate. That's your key role, really, delegation when you're the founder. So having a team that you can learn a lot from, having a team that are passionate about what you're doing in a similar field, that's the key to kind of to building a good team. Always make sure that they complement your skill set. So you're different, but wherever you lack, you have someone who's better than you at it, and you're humble enough to accept that as well. So that's the key to building a good team, in my opinion.
And as an entrepreneur, how easy is for you to delegate?
I think from where our work experience at Cisco, when you work at a certain corporation or a certain job,
Yeah.
kind of a cutthroat job, it becomes very easy being able to delegate and kind of tell people what they need to do. When you have a passion or vision in place, and when you know what needs to be done, it's very easy for you to be able to delegate. This is what needs to be done. And again, only delegate in places where you know you can be able to do it. If you know you can do it, I don't know if you've got the right person in place. Only be able to do something, or if you're in the right position, only be able to do something if you know you can't do it, and this person can add a lot of value towards that position.
The problem I see from experience, because I've
Mm,
done the same thing, I used to have the same approach, and
mm,
from what I hear from other entrepreneurs, is like we tend to try and do everything ourselves because,
yeah.
but I think that comes with trust as well, isn't it? Like you need to
Yes,
trust
definitely,
who you have around you so you can delegate,
definitely.
right? So you always think, okay, yeah, I have one task to do. Yeah, I'll do it myself because I'm quicker, because I know what I'm doing, and I'm not going to be miss the deadline. The problem with that is, and then you accumulate a lot of different tasks, and I think you become less productive, and I think
Definitely.
you miss
I
out
believe
on
the term is
creativity.
spreading yourself thin. Am I right? When you spread yourself too thin,
Yes,
definitely.
you
And
spread yourself too thin. Exactly.
mm, you have to let go and have to trust that the person you brought in, you made the right decision. And
I
unfortunately, if they're not, you kind of do the corporate thing with it, get rid if they and cut if they're not
yeah,
doing, if they're not keeping up with
I
what you need to do.
I I had that experience in the past in one of the
Mm,
companies I've started myself, and I had the tendency to always try and do everything myself, and
mm,
was very bad. And then at one point I stagnated, and I was overworked. In fact,
mm,
I was I couldn't I couldn't do everything myself, and then I started gradually delegating and creating different departments and handing over
yeah.
responsibilities, and it was
You
much
realize you're
better.
only one person, and your passion is good and that's strong, but it only takes you so far. You do need people with you.
You
For
do,
me personally, I would love
yeah,
to be able to do it all myself, but I get what you mean. You do need to trust people to help you with that.
yeah, and I think you limit creativity as well, right? Because you know, mo- as more you are, the more ideas you've got. So I think there's more creativity, and if you have a person that really excels in a certain area, like he excels in marketing or in
Mm,
advertising or I don't know, web design, whatever it is, or in video editing, today video is very important. I think you should let those individuals crack with what they're good at, right? And
yeah,
you should focus on on your strengths basically, right? And not so much
yeah.
be focusing on your weaknesses, at times. That's a very important lesson, I guess. How long have you been an entrepreneur, Ivan?
I would say my whole life, just in terms of young, from early entrepreneurialism, sort of buying and selling. But in terms of proper entrepreneur, probably about last 4 or 5 years.
5 years?
6 years, I'd say six.
6 years?
Comfortably say 6 years, yeah, about that.
If money wasn't an option, what would you do every day?
Would I have my own money, or would I
You'd have your own
have no
money.
money?
Money
Oh,
wouldn't be a problem for you, right?
I,
It wouldn't be a
I would be a
concern
social
anymore.
investor. I'd be a social investor. So
So
I'd
you
go and invest in good grassroots organization initiatives that are all about bringing opportunity for people, and investing in good initiatives like social ones and social enterprises, yeah, and those kind of good organizations that are helping the world and the communities.
Okay. What was your? I mean, I guess. I mean, this question you probably answered. Was that your biggest failure? I mean, in terms of running a business or being
Personally,
successful?
I don't believe anything's a failure as long as you learn from it. But in terms of
Yeah,
setback, I would say setbacks. Yeah, I mean, I say that because failure to me is a badge of honor. It doesn't. I don't believe you fail anything if it doesn't necessarily work out in the way it should have. You tried, and
yeah,
you have no regrets in that sense. So I think it's very powerful, and that's something here in the UK we need to change. This culture of failing, it looks so frowned upon, and people are so scared to fail that they never really risk or push them to their limits because they're so scared of it. Whereas I applaud places in Europe and US especially where it's a badge of honor to try and fall and get back up and fall. I definitely feel we need to adopt that because it's because of that mentality the US has so many unicorn companies, and we don't. I think we only have about one or two at the most, and that's again it's more of a cultural thing. But I believe as long as you learn from it, it's just a setback, not a failure. But
do
yeah,
you know
that
the
was my
do,
biggest setback.
do you know the ratio of unicorns compared to the UK or to Europe?
I
To, would
think
you,
I think the UK is like 1%, and the rest of them are like 60, 70, 60,
yeah,
70%, 80%. I know US produce so many unicorns every year, so they've got lots
yeah.
of billion-dollar companies,
They
lots
they
they produce.
dominate the technology
They
space, right? Although
dominate.
although some countries, the UK also in Europe probably dominates that
Mm.
space. I would say
Yeah,
Germany, but then if you look at the other countries in Europe, and if you look at the companies that they are quoted in in the stock exchange, um, from Spain, from Portugal, from Italy and stuff, the majority of them are still banks or pharmaceuticals, right?
yeah.
Whereas if you look at USA, like you see the big Apple, Microsoft, Cisco. I mean,
Mm.
all the big techs are there, isn't it?
All
They've
Silicon Valley.
all Silicon
All
Valley. I
Silicon
mean,
Valley. Yeah,
they've always been very very ahead of the game in terms of technology wise.
yeah,
Maybe not in other things. I don't know. I'm not sure. But in that sense, yeah. And in entrepreneurship, they all about taking risks, right?
yeah,
Uh, and I think, I mean, in life, an entrepreneur he needs to take his risks. I mean, with some precautions. I mean, you have to be conscious as well. You don't want
yeah.
to throw your life away, but I mean, I think you should take some risks, especially if you are young. I mean, you shouldn't be scared of, you know, gamble a
Definitely.
little bit, to giving that step. What are some of the helpful resources that I mean are helping you today and helped you throughout your journey?
I'm gonna shamelessly plug my own company and check out Spiela.co.uk. We have a lot of really cool mentors, organizations, partners who provide a lot of support and training
Okay.
for people who want to get into entrepreneurship and hearing people's accounts and stories of how they did things. The great ways to learn is to learn from others and see how others tried and had setbacks and got to where they are now through the perseverance and what they've learned. So that's one thing I would always shamelessly promote.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. That's good. That's very good.
Also, make sure to check out, the news outlets like TechCrunch. Um, there's a few others, TechCrunch and TechCrunch and a few of those are Medium, those kind of companies where you're able to find people you can relate and connect to. Social media like Instagram and Twitter is where you're able to see, you're able to kind of narrow in on your industries and see what people are saying and what's going on there very quickly, and be able to see where you can jump into it and where you can learn and connect with the right people, and really just make yourself available and checking out like Eventbrites and meetups and seeing what's going on. Where like where the virtual spaces due to COVID, of course, we can't go out, but a
Yeah.
lot of the virtual events going on. What can I learn? You always want to put yourself out there. It's all about visibility and get yourself out there. So being able to be
It's
as available as possible to people.
it's about staying curious, isn't it?
Staying
Uh,
curious.
and
That's
do and
definitely it.
also do your own research as well,
That's
right?
it. Yeah, definitely,
Uh,
definitely, definitely.
you
Can't stress
still
that enough.
need, yeah, you still need to do your homework. You still need to do your own research. Put
Mm,
in the effort. I mean,
yeah,
guidance. It's good to have guidance. It's good to get a mentor. It's good to have resources available.
yeah.
I mean, today you have so much content online, and
Oh yeah. There's so
I
much
mean,
now than there was 10 years ago. So much.
oh, much more. I mean, it has been an explosion of knowledge. If I would just know what I know today when I was 20, my God. I
Mm,
mean, it's just unbelievable the amount of information that
mm,
we can have access. That's why it's important, and especially when you are young, to hang out with the right people, right?
definitely,
And take time and do the right things and not spend your time, doing the wrong things. Um,
definitely.
do you have like three people? who have been the most influential to you? That you
If there was three people I could point out who have been influential to me, that would be my mother. That's the first person I learned a lot of perseverance and strength from, and just to overcome would be my mother. Second person would be, just in terms of kind of my whole life span as it is, it would just be family. My mentors, who have kind of shown me a way in which they've done things. So they're also immigrants themselves who have come over
okay?
to managed to achieve a level of success here in the UK.
From where they from?
France, both of them
From
from
France.
France,
Okay.
and they've been able to achieve high positions based on where they are, purely because of hard
That's
work.
the reason you know a bit of French, because I remember you knew a bit of French before.
Yeah, while speaking, yeah. So then, and just general Google, and also Google Translate is an amazing tool. Able to
That's a funny one. I remember. Oh, there's this guy. He speaks it. So you were googling what they were saying on the phone.
Yeah,
Actually
pretty much.
translated.
And it's all about staying naturally curious, right? So it's that natural curiosity to want to learn things. I remember just being in an office with you where I just hit Spanish or French just to see how I can help out in any way I could. So it's about having a natural curiosity to go a bit further. So it really would just be, in terms of from a business kind of motivation standpoint, them two. And I would say thirdly would probably be just some of my friends who have been able to kind of go from where they were to now. Having a good group of friends and people around you can really motivate you to step your level up and be at a high level as well and stay at that level. Just being around good people, it just challenges you and pushes you to be better. So that was what I would say about three business influences.
Yeah, that's very good. I mean, when we are young or when we're starting, this type of journey to be an entrepreneur or to be a professional in a sector that we've never experienced before.
Yeah.
Like myself, when I started in technology, I had no experience in technology. I had sales experience, but never have worked in technology before, right? One myth about your profession or career that you would want to debunk?
That you've got to be here, you've got to start at 9 a.m., you've got to work non-stop to get somewhere and finish at 10 o'clock and then go at it again at 9 a.m. again till 5. That's rubbish. No, you can get, as long as you're good with your time management, you can get through anything you need to get through. Having a routine is key, right? I get up around 5, 6, get my work done from like 5 to 8, 9 in the morning. That's 4 hours of non-stop work. Imagine what you can get done. It's discipline and routine that can debunk any kind of myth. That myth about, having to work at a certain time and do a certain amount. No, just work smart, not hard.
Yeah, it's about time management, isn't it? And each individual will have his own biological clock. Put it this way, isn't it? Like some people will function better. Myself personally, I function better at night. Like I can stay up until very late, until 2, 3 in the morning, work hard, right? And then in the morning I'm a bit slower. Like I like to take my time but then I crack on. But I extend my days. But it's just the way I am. It's my personality, my habits. And I think
find what works for you and push it. It's finding out what works for you and maximize.
Exactly. What energizes you, what energizes you. I think that's the most important thing that you need to. What advice would you give to your younger self today?
My younger self, be kind to yourself. Definitely be kind to yourself, knowing that don't be too hard on yourself when you do have a setback. Things will be okay. And make time to not be so hard-headed and listen and process adversity, process it as well. I was so used to kind of running past obstacles that I never took time to really look back and see how did it benefit or how did I get stronger from it. I just did without understanding where these emotions and things came from. So taking time to accept your situation you're in, be thankful and humble for what you've been able to achieve and look back and thank yourself. You've worked hard. And I'll tell my younger self to just keep that curiosity, keep determined, and know that things will be okay. And that you'll get to where you need to get to as long as you work hard.
Yeah, and stay humble all the time, isn't it?
Stay humble.
It's very important, right? You never forget where you came from. That's also very important.
Because as quick as you can get it, it's as quick as it can be gone. So it's always staying humble.
It's actually easier to be gone than to get it sometimes.
Exactly.
I don't want to demotivate anybody.
No, it's true. Yeah, bro, it can get that way, definitely.
It can get that way. So thank you very much for the insight. I mean, I'm sure we could stay here for hours talking about yourself. You have many stories to tell. We'll have other opportunities for sure, but we'd like to learn a little bit about Spiela.
Yeah, yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about Spiela? I mean, we know the concept. We know you're building a platform for minorities where they can network. And I've noticed that you had some recently some celebrities supporting the enterprise, and
Yeah.
you've had some good people in some calls that I had the opportunity to listen to. But if you could give us a bit of detail, what you're doing over
Sure.
there, what good things you're telling
Yeah,
us,
so
would be
in
great.
essence, it's all about how can we provide access and opportunities for people who otherwise won't be able to get that access opportunity and to grow. We're all about people growing as a character. So coming in with a curious mind, ambitious, being a part of the community and leaving it with something to be proud of. Like, oh, through Spiela, I learned about this, or I connected with this person. I found out about this opportunity. So it's about creating a one-stop shop full of information and opportunity for people in all types of communities. No discrimination, and having a safe space for people to come together and collaborate on lots of
Yeah,
different
that's important, right? Because when people see like, oh, this is for minorities, that doesn't mean you cannot get involved,
things.
right?
Not at all. Yeah,
Not at all, right? So
not at all.
everyone is welcome, right? So
Everybody's welcome. It's inclusive of all. We want the more, it makes the world go around. The more people can get together to come and share, it's different experiences and cultures we can all learn from. We're all different, and that's the beauty of life. The fact that we're all different. If we're all the same, there'll be nothing to
we're all the
to life.
same. We're all the same. You
Exactly.
just come from
So
different places, and
that's it.
we don't choose where we're born. At least
Exactly.
I
So
don't remember choosing.
exactly. So we celebrate. So we celebrate all of that, and that's what
Yeah.
spirit is about. A celebration of differences.
Yeah, that's good. Well, I mean, you mentioned before that how do you what type of services you provide, right? So let's say if let's put this into context, I think is better, right? So if I'm an entrepreneur, so I have a business idea, I learn about Spila, and I want to get involved. I want to come in, introduce myself, network, because I don't know, because I need some support, or I want to do a brainstorming session, or I'm looking for a mentor, or I'm looking for certain guidance to start up my business. How can Spill help me?
So if you're
You have it?
at the start of a business, you have an idea. If you're at the business idea stage, hey guys, I need to know about so so. What can I do? You have a community of people in that field who are able to come and give you expert advice for free. In terms of how to get started. Or if you're quite far ahead and you're at the idea stage and the prototype stage, it's a good MVP. You can kind of test it out in your communities. Kind of have an audience there who'll be able to give you feedback, provide support, know how, put you in the right direction. So it's about community. It's about joining a community that
Okay.
works for you and that caters for you as well. Meeting people who have the same mutual interest as you and working together to kind of collaboratively build together. So Spiela is that kind of service. It's a community service where you come in, be able to get the support from people that look like you, people that can relate to you, people that understand you, and be able to find what suits for you, and also finding anything else that's new, finding new audiences, stumbling upon it's kind of social discovery as well. So stumbling upon things you may not have known or read or understood, and connecting to different partners, because we work with partner organizations who provide all kinds of opportunities. And so if that matches for you, then you can reach out to those partner opportunities and see if you can get the ball rolling on some opportunities. So yeah.
Yeah. Do you have to register as a member?
Yes.
Do you need to
Yeah, you
become a
do have to
member?
register as a member. Very quick process, takes about a minute or two, and then you
Okay.
just jump straight into the community.
Okay. And then you have access to all the resources on the platform, right? On the
Correct.
website and all that.
Correct.
Anyway, I'll leave the details of the website. So if you guys want to register, become a member, I'll leave all the information there. Which communities does Spila support at this moment in stage?
Any and all communities. So we're very
Anything?
diverse, right? Even our team is very diverse at the moment. So whether that's gay, trans, whether that's black, white, Asian, all kinds of creeds and communities that can come in and work together. And we're still at early stages, so we're still looking to pull in lots of different organizations and influential people within these communities to bring their communities on board and see how we can all join together to, put
But
live
do you
events.
support any specific location? I mean, communities
Oh,
like
to begin with,
yeah,
London, but of course we will expand far,
yeah.
far and wide as we continue to grow. So as we continue to scale, but just to begin with, where we do service a lot of London.
And how? I mean, are you employing people directly
Not,
through Spila?
not yet, not yet. So we've got a team at the moment, but of course we're looking for ideas, and we have our kind of like a business model, how we want to make money, how we want to bring more people on board, how to get people on board. We do yearly events as well, in which we get funded
Okay.
by the council to do community events as well. So we're looking to tap into that again once COVID is over. COVID has messed up a lot of people's plans, ours included, and yeah, happy to get the ball rolling once COVID's over.
So I guess I mean the people you have in your team, you are all volunteers basically. So you are all working on a volunteer. You all have your
Well,
jobs and
yeah, they all have our jobs, but everyone's a part of this team. So we'll say volunteers, but more like part timers. We've got people that
yeah.
are in this for the long haul. So people who do kind of want to who believe in this and want us to work as well.
Is it difficult to do both things? I mean, to have a job and run the
When
organization.
you're super passionate about something, it becomes extremely easy. As long as you're
It's easy,
committed
isn't
and
it?
disciplined, it's very easy. I can work a full 9 to 5 while working on my project and still have the same amount of effort in both. So it's not. I don't find it a
Yeah,
problem at all.
it's not about money. It's about what you love, right? It's
It's
about what
about what
you.
you love, because your
Yeah,
passion will take you far, even when the money dries up. The passion is what will drive you far.
yeah. That I mean, that's you know that's very important. Ivan, what keeps you? What makes you wake up in the morning? I mean, what motivates you?
What motivates me is knowing that I can make a difference daily to somebody's life. I'm helping somebody in some way, and if I know I've helped change somebody's life for the better, that motivates me to keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, you clearly a social entrepreneur, right? I
Uh,
almost
at my core, I believe so. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, cool. Yeah,
The occasional capitalist knock hits me, but at my core, a social entrepreneur, definitely.
yeah. I mean, we're living through difficult times now, and of course, you know, with COVID, recession, I think is already here, knocking our door.
Mm,
I mean, or if he's not here, he's coming. A lot of small businesses going bust. You know, it's it's a sad reality, but it's a reality. I mean, you are clearly someone who's close to the community. Uh, can you tell us, you know, how COVID-19 is impacting, you know, the communities around you in London, positively and negatively? I mean,
it's two sides, right? On the positive, people are able to spend more time doing what they love within the confines, and people are able to kind of really explore and look inside themselves and catch up with themselves. London is such a busy city, so easy to get
yeah,
distracted and not focus on life and what was going on. So it slowed people down and allowed it to really take a hold in a positive sense. But that's also in the negative also. Mental health, it's attacked a lot of people. A lot of people are anxious and worried and scared because COVID has taken away a lot from them, from their routine and their habit. And I guess it's forcing them to tap into places they otherwise wouldn't. So I would say that those are the two things that are happening with COVID-19.
yeah, I think is also an opportunity, you know, for people to innovate, right? And
Mm,
and think of different ways to run their businesses, right? And adopting different technologies and so on. Not all businesses are able to do that, right? For example, my
yeah,
barber is not able to, you know, to open his barber shop at the moment because of the rules in place, right?
yeah, yeah,
Fortunately, he cannot work. He can. We still can't do it through a video conference. We don't have that technology yet, you know.
yeah.
But you know, it is a reality, right? But I'm sure there are businesses out there that are doing very well, right? Because they manage to adapt to the circumstances. Uh, I mean, but at the end of the day, is what it is, right? COVID is here, and we need to fight it. I think I don't like about this COVID-19. I mean, I don't like, not that I don't like. I mean, is the way the government is communicating and is imposing things into us,
Mm,
right? Because you know we all have this set of rules: wear a mask, don't wear a mask. There is the argument that
yeah,
you know close that shop, that type of business can run, the other businesses cannot run, and so on.
yeah.
But I don't hear many people, apart from some influencers and on the internet, right? But I don't hear any governmental body, you know, actually talking to the community about, you know, how to stay healthy, right? How to
They're
strengthen
not
the immune
because they probably
system.
they. I feel that's because they don't have an idea themselves. That's what I think personally.
Yeah.
Mm,
Because, you know, I think it's about staying healthy, exercising, you know, eating well.
Yeah,
and that ultimately will strengthen your immune system. It'll be easy for you to fight the disease. How
definitely.
how how do you plan for rest and self care, Ivan? In your case, I mean,
Being in routine, eating well. So I've adopted more of a some holistic approach. So I'm blending more avocados, sea moss, better fruits, the smoothies, apple cider vinegar, that kind of thing. But also being in routine, so trying to sleep earlier and wake up better, and burning sage, like incense, those kind
mhm.
of things, to just keep my mind at peace. And having my girlfriend as well with me, that's really helpful as well. So keeping me
She
centered.
looks after you.
Yeah. Properly something. Yeah.
Yeah, that's important. Do you do do you do any exercise, any
Yes.
meditation, any?
So I do try to do some jogging in the morning. So get out at around 6, 7 in the morning, do a bit of jogging around the area, and just try to do as much as I can. I do miss naturally weightlifting, but it's tough. But try to keep myself as busy as much as I can.
What's your vision for yourself in Spiela for the next 5 years?
Fully funded, having our own, kind of building our own empire, and really world domination for positive change or
That's
positive
good.
world domination. So that's the aim. The next 5 years.
that's I mean I mean it's inspiring, right? I
Thank
I
you.
I really appreciate people like you, and I think the world needs more people like you, right? And or
Thank you,
that
brother.
think the way you think, right? And even if we don't run a social enterprise, right, a dedicated social enterprise, I think we should all give something back to the community, right? We
Definitely.
cannot only take, right? That's my thinking as well, right? I think I I don't think we all should earn the same thing. I'm not I don't think that way. I believe certain people they should make more than others
Yeah.
because certain
So
talents and the efforts.
a non-communist.
Yeah, I'm not a
Yeah.
communist, but I
Yeah.
truly think everyone deserves an equal opportunity, or at least have the same
I
starting
agree.
point, right?
I agree.
Um, and and is indeed the right way to be in life, and the right approach, in my opinion. Well, where can our listeners find you and watchers find you online?
Spiela.co.uk. That's our website. You can find us on We Are Spiela on Instagram and Twitter. And that's where you can find us mainly for video Q&As, talks, send us a message, join the community, any questions, all the kind of correspondence and things we've got going on. Just check out that page. Check out that
Yeah,
link on Twitter, Instagram, and our website.
thank you. I'll leave the details on the description of the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anyway, so that everybody can have access. What does entrepreneurship means to you, Ivan?
Chance to better the world and to better the lives of others, and I believe entrepreneurialism and social business is really finding a problem to a solution, really finding a solution to a problem, vice versa. Sorry. So that I believe that's what social entrepreneurialism is at its core. It is the definition of having a problem that and provide a solution that can benefit all those around and not just one particular person. It benefits everybody in a positive way and allows people to be in a better place today than they were yesterday.
Ivan, it has been an absolute pleasure having you here today. Thank you very
Likewise.
much
Thank
for
you so
turning
much.
up. It's always a pleasure talking to you, and I hope I can see you soon after lockdown.
Definitely, my
Uh,
friends.
yeah, and for those who are watching or listening, please don't forget leave us a comment, check Spila online, and leave a comment, subscribe to our channel. We would love to hear from you. Thank you very much.
Definitely. And
Take
without
care.
further ado, again, please follow Tiago. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And thank you so much, Tiago, for having me, my friend. I look forward to seeing you
You're
soon.
welcome. Yeah, thank you.
Take
Take
care,
care,
bro.
my friend. Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers, mate.